Good Wednesday morning, Quad Cities. It is 9 o'clock on the dot, and it is Wednesday, April 30th. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzke.
And I'm weather anchor Peter Warner.
We are so excited
So excited.
this particular episode of Ask Andrew because we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us coming up.
I'm very excited.
Yes. I'll give you a couple of hints. No, it's not Justin Timberlake.
Sadly.
We didn't manage to book him on today because, tomorrow is the first day of May, and he's got that, meme on the internet. It's going to be May,
Yeah.
So, it's not Justin Timberlake.
No.
But it is somebody very special to all of us here.
Yes.
And, of course, as soon as that person gets here, we'll bring him on into the studio. We'll say hello, catch up, chat a little bit, and all that good stuff.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of you guys are going to be very happy about who this person is.
I know. So excited.
So excited.
So excited.
You say that a lot, but I mean, that's how we are.
Exactly. So we got a lot of things to go over. In addition to our special guest, of course, we've got some weather to talk about. A new pattern coming our way in the next week that's going to be a change for some weather compared to what we've seen the last few days.
Yes, a little bit of a milder, you could say, which I'm not mad about in a way, because it's been kind of a hectic week, it feels like.
It has been, yeah. We had that severe storm threat on Monday. Thankfully, the worst case scenario did not pan out. I know a lot of people are upset because they canceled plans. They may have adjusted schedules. But honestly, it was one of those days where all it took, and we said it all day long, was one storm to pop up, bust the cap open, and all what would have broken loose across the Quad Cities.
There is that potential there. And again, it was all about making sure you're prepared for that potential, because all it needs is one.
All it takes is one.
All it takes is one. And we saw what happened up in southern Minnesota, northern Iowa.
Exactly, yeah. Multiple reports of tornadoes, wind damage, hail.
Lots
of hail. Yeah.
Lots of it. That was I think I saw 50 reports, it looked like, of that.
Yes, tons and tons of hail up there. So we really dodged another severe weather threat there. Of course, there'll be more in the not so distant future. We're just getting started in severe weather season. So we're going to talk about, of course, weather related stuff, and then we'll get to our special guest. If this is your first time here, welcome to this live event here on the 8 Plus app. If you have friends and family members that have smart TVs, make sure and recommend the 8 Plus app if it's compatible for their device, because not only do you get access to this exclusive content, but you're also going to get access to bonus severe weather content.
Yes.
How many streams did we have on Monday? Wasn't it like 4?
I think 4.
At least?
Because we had, let's see. Well, I guess we had Sunday night. But
Yep, we had Sunday night as well.
So, but Monday morning at 9, we had the 12 o'clock. And then did James do 2 as well, I think?
He did 2.
2:30 and like 8.
Evening. So we had 5.
So we had 5 in a matter of 24 hours.
We had 5 live streams regarding the severe storm threat that happened on Monday. And that's all bonus content that you wouldn't normally see on the air, on your regular TV. This is all stuff that you can tune into. So it's a great resource, especially during severe weather. It's our way of giving you everything that we know, because everything's going to change in hours' time. So that's the best way to stay updated.
Yes. I'll always keep you updated on the forecast. And speaking of changing, our even forecast from yesterday has changed to today a little bit.
Yeah, another system coming in here that's going to bring us some shower activity. So we'll start tracking that here, and then we'll get to the Ask Andrew question that we answered this morning. If you have a question, you can text that to 309-304-0888. That's going to be the best and easiest way to get it right to us here at the weather desk. So we'll talk a little bit about the weather that's coming in for today. Then we'll get to our Ask Andrew question that we had this morning. Let's look at the regional radar here together, because you're going to be able to see that we do have indeed some rain to the south of us. And you see a good cluster of rain coming into west central Illinois. Now that system itself is going to mainly stay to our south. However, we're going to get a couple of these showers here in northern Missouri that will work northward as we go into the afternoon. So this is moving in this direction here to the northeast. So it's not going to be an all day or all afternoon rain unless you're further southeast. I would say southeast of Princeton, Kewanee, probably into Monmouth and Macomb there. That's where you could see a steadier rain here early in the afternoon, but the rest of us just scattered showers. But Peter, we've been watching another kind of little more potent,
robust
piece of energy, if you will, in Oklahoma.
And that's that area of low pressure that's kind of almost starting all of this in a way, because we have this warm front ahead of it, but that's circulating right around that low. And we were just watching videos, some significant flooding in Oklahoma City, heavy rainfall we've seen with that system just to the south currently.
Yeah, Oklahoma City for the month of April has now logged more than a foot of rain. and that actually sets a new record for the month of April. I think the previous record was a little bit over 11 and a half inches, and that was what, I think back in the 1960s?
I think they said it was the 1960s.
Yeah, so very, very big record that had fallen there. So we're going to get a little bit of that rain coming in. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here in the near term. But for right now, we want to focus on our special guest this morning.
Hopefully you can hear me.
Look who's back.
She's back.
I'm back.
Yes. We
Here I am. I know. I was
my gosh.
up so early this morning, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to be up and early. And then I was on my phone. Eyes got heavy, fell back asleep. Then I woke up, and I was like, oh, I got to go. So I got ready, and then, I live on a dead end, and everything was blocking me. Missed it by just a couple of minutes, so I just got here in the nick of time. But yeah, happy to be back. It feels like the first day of school.
Oh my God. Yes, we have just missed you so much while you've been gone. It's felt like forever and a day.
I know.
It literally has. And it's nice to be back kind of in that routine again.
Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to, is getting back into the routine of things. It was nice to take that step away. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more at peace, a lot calmer, and kind of ready to get back into the swing of things. But it just feels weird to be here. And I meant to come in early so I could acclimate, but now I'm literally just came in for the first time, threw the mic on, and now here I am in front of the camera.
And there you are, yeah.
It's like riding a bike.
Exactly, and it's okay because this is all informal.
Yes.
This is what we love about this segment.
I know, and it's been so crazy because I've been watching the weather, but not like keeping up to date with it. And so it's funny to be like a normal person and then be like, oh, I didn't expect this today. But yeah, so it's been nice. I see, we've gotten a lot of rain. I was actually just in Wisconsin, upper Wisconsin, not like over the weekend, Elkhart Lake region, and
Yes.
no foliage really coming in.
Really?
And then I come back here and everything really bursted. I've been watching it, but it's crazy how much has grown. It's awesome.
Yeah, very quick transformation. Peter was looking up some of the foliage details about how early these leaves have been, and we've been getting that into our Max system. I haven't built that graphic yet, but you've been watching that, I know. And how early was it?
I think we were about 7 to 14 days early.
Wow.
I think is what we ended up being. And Shelby was telling me the same exact thing because she was in Wisconsin or northern Iowa this weekend too. Similar situation, complete green out down here further to the north.
I know, it's crazy. Like we are just on that line here that has been experiencing that weather. We've been getting a lot of warmth. And again, we've been getting some pretty consistent rain here.
Yeah.
So that's really helped a lot of the foliage. However, I know the one thing is right now is like prime morel mushroom hunting time.
Oh, yes.
And I know the early foliage is not the best because it hides those mushrooms a little and it makes it harder to find them. But yeah, it's been awesome. I love it. I love spring. I'm very excited. And again, the storms, very thankful that nothing really came out of
Monday.
Monday. I was watching that closely and I was getting a little nervous. It would have been nice to get a couple of last minute storms before returning into work mode during that event.
Right.
But it panned out pretty nice for us.
Yeah, and you came back at a good time too, because I would have hated for you to come back and we'd have to go right into severe weather coverage.
It's been pretty, I feel like, consistent-ish here. So, I'm thankful that I'm coming into a pretty quiet time. I know beautiful weather coming up this weekend, so that'll be nice to bring in some really nice weather as I get back onto the weekend show. And then, next couple days, I know we have some rain. Right?
Yeah, a couple shower activity opportunities, and even a nice soaking rain coming in tonight. Yeah, we were talking about this back here in Oklahoma. So, yeah, we're going to have some things to track here as we go through the next couple of days, and then you're going to enjoy a nice, quiet weekend back as you get back onto the airwaves here for GMQC Saturday and Sunday. And it also looks like most of next week is going to be quiet too. And we'll go over that pattern change that's going to be coming our way here. First, we'll start tracking some of the showers that are going to be coming through. Again, I think the better coverage is especially going to be later tonight well after dark. We're talking after sunset. So once we get to sunset, that's when we'll start to see some of that rain work its way up from the southwest, including a few embedded thunderstorms that'll be coming in with that too. No severe weather expected with any of this, by the way. These are just going to be heavy downpours and perhaps a little gust of wind, especially if you're down near Macomb and Burlington. We'll have that work out for the morning commute tomorrow. So notice I didn't put out a weather impact alert for that. The heaviest rain will be out of here by your morning commute, so we're not expecting any impacts there. And then for the next 2 days, beyond that steady rain late tonight into tomorrow morning, it's just scattered showers, and it's not an all-day rain either. You see this kind of coming in pulses or waves. So we're going to have a lot of dry hours that we're going to get to enjoy the next several days, and then heading into the weekend, it looks really, really nice. How much rain are we expecting? Again, this is all going to depend on where the storm's set up. If you get under a thunderstorm, if you're sleeping tonight and you hear the rumbles, you're probably going to be closer to 3/4 of an inch, if not an inch. Some isolated higher amounts coming in. So it's good that we're getting the rain now, because this is the pattern next week. It's called an omega block. And the reason it's called that is because it looks like the Greek letter omega, that symbol there. And the high pressure will take control to our southwest. That will keep us dry. It will also keep us warm too. We're going to see a gradual increase in temperatures that will eventually get us close to the 70s. As we get towards the end of the weekend, and then 80s next week. This continues to improve as well. We get a new update on the drought monitor tomorrow. We like to see the downward arrows on the colored boxes. On that darker gray box, we like to see the up arrow. That indicates that everything heading in the right direction. And then there's where we head into the weekend and early next week. Lots and lots of dry skies. Also a lighter wind pattern too. That's going to be taking shape. So we're going to have it easy here once we get into the weekend and early next week. We're not going to have to worry about severe weather for a while. That will take a break. Looks like an easy, calm start to the new month of May. Coming our way.
I'm excited.
We love that.
I know the weather is going to be so nice. It'll be nice to get a little bit more rain, and then we kind of will dry out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
A lot of lawnmowers humming. The garden centers are going to be busy this weekend.
Literally, my yard is starting to look real rough already. I was like, wow, it needs mowed already.
Time to get that mowing done.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of folks are going to be doing that this weekend. So a reminder, if you have a question for us, you got all three of us today. So you get some big knowledge, some big brain power today, especially now with
that.
Morgan being back, right? You don't get much brain power.
I feel like I'm rusty at this point.
You'll be just fine. You can text that number at the bottom of your screen, 309-304-0888. I had a couple more things I want to cover really quickly. Someone had messaged me this morning asking, where are we in the ranking for the wind? Because we've talked about how crazy the wind has been.
Yeah, it's been extremely windy this season.
It hasn't stopped. We had that crazy March. March was ridiculous. Felt like a warning, like at least every other day.
Yes, that's exactly what it felt like. We had all these wind advisories. We had high wind warnings, high wind watches. So where do things stand? So I'm going to take you through two time periods. We'll go through the springtime period first, which would be I'm going to actually go the yearly period, January 1st through where we are today. So the whole first half of 2025 here as it stands today. It's second place for the gustiest period of wind in the Quad Cities. So that's still impressive. And look how close we are to the #1 spot. It's not much.
It's not much at all.
So less
That's
than a
super
mile per hour? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by the dips, where these trends.
And we looked at temperature trends too. I remember when Andrew and I were digging with this data, it doesn't even really correlate with temperature data too much, which was, you would think it would.
That was super interesting.
So interesting.
Right?
Yeah, those little ebbs and flows in the data there. So you can see, based on, there's 2022, which takes the top spot, just a few years back at 30.59 miles per hour, how close we've come. So, we're not expecting really strong winds today. This will likely be the final verdict that it was the second gustiest period on record for the Quad Cities, at least year to date so far. But what's interesting is if you look at the monthly totals, this is just for the month of April. Actually, I'm sorry, I got to go back one more. I didn't put a pause point in there. There it is. We're not even in the top 10 in terms of gustiest April months.
Okay.
So it's elevated. You can see the average there is in the black.
Yeah.
That's the 30-year average. And then the total average since the date began, way in the 1900s, is in the blue. We definitely surpassed both of those.
Yeah.
It was definitely above average, no doubt about it. But it was not the windiest April on record, or the gustiest.
That is super interesting.
Isn't that interesting? But what's also interesting, look at the top 10 list. Like all of those dates in the last, 20 years, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, and it kind of is another indicator when we're talking about, climate change and stuff. With rising global temperatures, you get those more extreme changes across the globe. It's still cold in the polar regions, but it's getting warmer elsewhere, and those temperature changes is kind of what sets wind in motion. So if we have more severe weather or temperature changes, we get way more windy. So it totally makes sense that most of our windiest seasons have been in the past decade or two.
Right there, yeah. Very impressive. And also the strength of the cold that we had this spring season too. We have had some consistent cold move in from now and then, trying to battle out that warmth. You get those big pressure differences like we were talking about, and there you go. You get your wind. So there's the answer to that question. I know a lot of folks were curious. We're not in the top 10 for April, but we are in the second gustiest period on record for wind year to date in the Quad Cities. Last thing I wanted to cover, and we'll get to your questions. There is some ongoing river flooding that is expected right now. This is limited to the Wapsie, so we're talking about DeWitt as you go north of the Quad Cities. It's only about 0.4 of a foot above flood stage right now, but it is expected to crest this weekend about a foot above flood stage. So we're not too surprised. As I've said before, with the Wapsie, it seems like we get one heavy rain event and the thing is out of its banks.
Yeah.
Very vulnerable to flooding. But that's the only river that is experiencing flooding at this time.
Yeah, we've had a pretty decent season when it comes to flooding. I know the biggest concern was heavy rainfall, but again, we've had a lot of rain. It just hasn't been, the dumping of rain very consistently, which would cause flooding. So again, like you said, the Wapsie, I feel like it floods no matter what.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's guaranteed pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed. It's the Wapsie.
Yeah. Any type of heavy rain, away she goes.
Yes.
So now we've got plenty of time for your questions here. Again, we go to the bottom of the hour. Any weather-related question, we ask, as usual, don't make it weird. Keep it weather-related. And of course, we want to welcome Morgan back as well too to the team here. It's like you never left. We always hold a place for you.
Yes.
We kept your chair open, if you will. Anxiously waiting for you to come back. Also, if you haven't gotten a chance, make sure you're following Morgan on social media. You posted a beautiful, and I mean, I got emotional reading it yesterday as you posted that, but make sure and check out her message that she posted on Facebook.
Yeah. No, yeah, and again, the trigger warning, it does mention talks of suicide, and that's something that I've experienced very recent, why I had to take a step back from work. But it's a very important topic. It's sobering how often it impacts, and even reading my comments, how many people have been affected, and so it needs to be talked about a lot more and more visible to people so that they feel alone. But but thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was definitely reading the comments, and I was like you. I was blown away by how many of you out there have been touched by something very similar. I mean, we walk around in our everyday lives and, people may look like they're fine and things are going well, but deep down inside, there's a lot of us that may not know what a certain person may be dealing with. We put up that facade, if you will, on our faces. So I think it was an important reminder that we're all human, that we all have feelings, we all get impacted by different life events, and, never be afraid to speak up. Yeah,
I know, exactly. So very important reminders out there, and I hope that everyone who read that and shared their stories, it's just a reminder that we need to watch out for each other, and we need to take care of each other and listen. So, very, very important.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great there. All right, questions. Who's got them? Do we have some we can answer?
Okay, I think that's top one.
Top one is Seth.
Okay, so you have more than I do.
Yes.
That I can see.
Yeah. Honestly, I do not have an Amazon Alexa, Seth. Do you guys have an Amazon Alexa?
I do have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have too many. I
too many.
have one in every room.
Do you really?
So, I have no secrets in my house.
Yeah.
Because she hears
She's always
everything.
listening.
She's always listening.
Oh yeah, I have one. I even have one in my garage.
That's
so.
hilarious.
that was one of my favorite questions we've ever got. Michelle was wondering, just talking about the rain, saying we need it. Dan, Do you know of any lunar event last night, Andrew? I didn't see anything on that one.
I don't know of anything moon-wise that would have
Yeah.
gone on last night. I know we had, what was it, late last week, we had the smiling moon.
Yes.
With, I think it was
yeah.
Saturn and Venus. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know of anything else going on.
Yeah, maybe if you saw something, you gotta really pay attention to those social media dates.
Yeah.
So you might have saw something like, I always get tripped up by those too, and I'm like, oh, that already happened. It's not happening tonight.
Facebook's great, but I see stuff that's like a week and a half old
Yeah.
sometimes.
I'll get like month-old.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes I get like a month old, and I'm like, I've already seen this.
Yeah.
It's a little delayed.
Yeah.
Watch those dates.
You have the Austin one?
No.
Okay, Austin was wondering, what's your favorite kind of weather event to study or forecast? Ooh. This one's fun.
Study for sure is thunderstorms.
Oh, yeah.
Forecast though, I'd say my favorite weather to forecast, because I want to be right, is just going to be like the sunny and 75 days.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, I know exactly how this is going to pan out today. Yeah, easy. I'm going to be right. And then, yes, with like the snow and the thunderstorm stuff, yes, that's exciting to forecast, but it's stressful.
Yes.
Snow is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
What about you guys?
Go ahead.
Ooh, I like hurricanes, both study and.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's just the
They're
development
very
of them and the
complex.
complexity within them. Obviously, we don't really see them here, but just being able to track them for days on end, watching them develop, the hurricane hunters off, it's just so fascinating. It's fun to nerd out on. Very
Yeah.
fun to nerd out on.
I'm gonna have to agree with Peter. If I had, the tools and the resources, unlimited funds and stuff like that, I would go back and do tropical forecasting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'd be very interesting, because that's kind of something I guess people don't really or realize when you go to school for meteorology. There's different schools that
Yep.
specialize in different ones, but tropical forecasting is quite literally its own class, because it's so complex. Hurricanes, it's hard to grasp your mind about the size of them and what's going on within the system. But yeah, tropical forecasting would be, I would absolutely try to go back and do that, but that's money.
I think exactly. Yeah, it does cost quite a bit to go back and do that. We've got a little advantage, if one of us were to go to a tropical market, we've already got the severe weather experience under our belts. So, it's kind of similar, except when you're dealing with a hurricane, you're talking about a long form event. So it would basically be doing wall-to-wall severe weather coverage for hours on end, some cases days.
No, yeah, they stay at the station. A lot of the meteorologists
Exactly,
during
yeah.
those events, when they're getting hit, they plan to basically be there, and they're on the clock, around the clock, on air. It's crazy.
Which one was it this summer or fall with Tampa, our sister station down there? I'm pretty sure they were live for like 72 hours straight or something crazy.
It was a long time.
I forget which hurricane that was for. If that was that Milton maybe, or Chocolate Milton?
Might have been Milton.
It might have been Milton. But
Your memory's a lot better than mine.
I don't know. But I remember they were doing 72 hours straight. So
Yeah.
That's crazy.
crazy
A
stuff.
lot of work.
Yes.
How bad is it going to be tonight? Talking about thunderstorms, I'm assuming? Not bad.
No, we're not going to see any severe weather. If you look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook, I did show that this morning, because it does just nudge up against our southernmost hometowns. But even then, we're not expecting anything terrible. That's new this morning, a new little level 2 there in southern Illinois. That wasn't there earlier. But yeah, the little 1 out of 5, well south of Quincy, we're south of Macomb. That's just for some gusty winds. Again, I think we get a break for severe weather for at least a week ahead of us, if not a little bit more.
Have people saying hi, hello. Billy saying, question is, what is the strongest tornado produced during a derecho?
Oh.
That's a great question. I don't know. I do know that with derechos, the tornadoes usually produced by them generally are weak, generally are fast, generally don't last long, because derechos are so powerful in themselves, and it's such a big line of wind that it kind of suffocates those tornadoes out. And again, you can get those quick spin ups, but again, the storm kind of overtakes it. So usually we see pretty low rating tornadoes during derechos.
Yeah.
Nothing too extreme.
Yeah.
We're not talking like, an EF4 or an EF5.
Yeah.
You need a standalone supercell to get something that
Yes.
strong.
Yeah.
But great question.
More people saying hi, hello, thank you for the welcome backs. Roger said, what are the odds you're right this time? I don't know. I didn't forecast. I did not forecast today.
That'd be my odds today.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good about this one.
Yeah, I feel
think
pretty good about your
yeah,
forecast too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking really good.
I mean,
Trust
I feel good
complex.
about most of our forecasts. Okay, I think you might be
Yes.
getting more than me. I don't know. I need to get back on the Wi-Fi here. And
Okay.
not on it.
Lennon was wondering, what's the Cape look like tonight? And I don't think we should be seeing too much Cape
No.
with the system because the
No.
temperatures we're seeing.
Yeah, this
Cloud
is
cover.
this
we
is
have-
not going to be a lot.
I don't think much energy at all to work with.
We can take you through there. Here again, we're going to do this on the fly. That's the fun part about this is it's informal. We have all this time. We can load stuff up, and we can take you through there to show you. So, yeah, little storm energy to the south of us. You notice it's all weak. It's all
Oh,
on
yeah.
the low end of the scale. So, not expecting too much here. Just enough to support a couple rumbles of thunder is all.
From Ginny in Knoxville, why are thunderstorms more common in the afternoon and evening?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
Quite literally what we're looking at right now is a good answer. So a lot of the thunderstorms want a lot of energy, a lot of moisture. And so, when you think about it, during the summer, you get humidity, you get the sun, and then by the evening you start getting those little pop-up storms. That's just because we've got so much energy that's been building throughout the day, and those storms love that energy. So that's usually why, obviously we do get those morning storms, but more commonly it's in the afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or evening.
afternoon and evening.
Okay, so Lexi, I have seen elsewhere that our weather is being compared to 2011 tornado season. Is this likely, or is it just something that we should ignore and live in the present day by day?
I would say, don't focus on that solely. Don't stress about that thinking that we're going to have a repeat of 2011. We showed some of those tornado statistics, not last week, maybe the week before, maybe 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, we did it on the screen back there. It's
We had
kind
it
of
on
fun.
the screen, where, it has been above average in active season. We have surpassed, I believe, 2011. It hasn't been the busiest one on record, but yeah, it's been busy. But notice we're going to take a break here. We're going to go pretty much all of next week without having to talk about severe weather.
And yes, it has definitely been a very active start to the season. It's not super uncommon.
Yeah.
May is definitely our peak severe weather season, and the fact that we're kind of going in quieter, it's nice that we're going to be able to take a step back here. But yeah, May is generally the more active season for us. May and June, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at it this morning. Average, I think, 14 or 13 tornadoes in the month of June in Iowa, and that's one less for the month of May. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
two biggest seasons for
Yeah.
tornadoes, at least statewide in Iowa. That's when you see the highest totals for that.
And that average is about what we had on Easter. We had 14 tornadoes on Easter in the Quad Cities.
All right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Aw. Michelle says Peter better not leave. He's awesome.
No plans on that.
Hello Tracy, thank you. How much rainfall is forecasted through the end of the week? Says Tyler.
Sure, yeah, we can pull up the forecast model here. This will take us all the way through Friday afternoon. Not expecting too much after that. Looks a little quieter. There will be some pockets of heavier rain. It looks like, depending on where the storms set up, the thunderstorms. Where you get the thunderstorms is where you're going to hit the inch in your rain gauge. Otherwise, most of us, I think, on average, a quarter to half an inch worth of rain with this system. Just enough to get a drink for the farm fields and your lawn, and you'll probably have to mow this weekend.
Yes. All right, I think we got time for one last question, and that's about
Perfect.
what we got left in the chat. Linda, with the weather balloons, what happens to them? They tell us not to let off helium balloons due to danger to wildfires, or wildlife, excuse me. Are weather balloons bad as well, or does someone retrieve them? That's a great question. The helium thing is, they don't use helium.
No.
These are filled with
Hydrogen. Yeah,
yes.
hydrogen.
These are filled with hydrogen. So they've thought about this. No one goes and retrieves them, but they are recyclable. And even on the little device that captures all the, what am I saying?
Oh, the data there?
Yeah,
Yep.
all the data. It says, like, if you find it, go ahead and throw it away. However, if I were to find it, or if anyone else finds it, let me know. I would love a keepsake because
Yes.
Mr. Stutzke over here has one.
Yes, you do.
And I bring it to every school visit,
Yes.
and the kids, they just love it to see that.
I mean,
so.
it just looks like a styrofoam little box and then a popped balloon, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like, why do you have this? And it's like, it's so cool. So
We're
I would
nerds.
love to have one. Yeah.
We're nerds.
We're nerds.
What are we going to do about it?
But yeah, no, that's a very good question. But yeah, usually they don't go and retrieve them. But there has been some very, interesting areas that ones have been picked up on. I can't remember which National Weather Service it was, but I know one National Weather Service found another National Weather Service's balloon.
Oh my gosh.
Like it landed in their field and they were like, hey, we got your guys' balloon. So
Wow.
yeah, that's funny.
That is crazy. That'd
Yeah.
be some strong wind.
Yeah.
Say, carry it that far to office? From balloon
I think it was
offices.
I
Yeah.
think the distance wise, like it could have been like Quad Cities to like Lincoln. So, like they can travel pretty fast if the jet stream is pretty strong that day.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Speaking of impressive, your questions were impressive today.
Yeah,
They were.
really, really good questions.
We do have one last one by Tracy. Is it ever going to get warm? Just wait till next week.
Yeah,
Oh,
next
it's
week.
gonna get
Oh, it's
warm.
gonna feel like
we could be
summer
seeing near
here.
80 next week.
Yes.
Be
We're
fantastic.
getting there.
And
No
look what
humidity yet,
happens.
though.
No humidity
No
yet.
humidity.
Also, I guess our definitions of warm are very different. I think it's been pretty warm.
Yes.
I will keep the 60s over the 30s any single day of my life. So.
Yeah. Oh, amen to that.
I need my 80s. I like my 80s.
Well, you're an Arizona boy. So.
Yeah, you're from Phoenix. You're used to that.
Yeah, you
stuff.
want that heat.
That's true.
You'll get it in due time.
Yes.
We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Ask Andrew Live. Again, great to have you back, Morgan.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
happy to have you back. Make sure and check out Morgan this weekend. Good Morning Quad Cities on Saturday and Sunday. If you don't have that on your television or you're not going to be around, you can always DVR it on the A Plus app. It'll always be available. And of course, you'll get to talk about this awesome weekend we've got ahead of us.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Have a great Wednesday, Quad Cities.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 8 Plus app everywhere you stream.